Are the mics working? Dude, oh my god, this is so botched.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Fortunately, we fucked up big time on this episode. We had some great guests. We had a great conversation. The fucking camera's fucked up. Transferring fucked up. Something fucked up. I don't even know what happened, but we lost the video from one angle to this episode. So this episode is going to be audio only, unfortunately. Eventually, in a couple episodes, we're going to start doing Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. But this episode on YouTube is going to be audio only because we're so fucking sorry about this. We're giving away a BotchPod shirt. These have never released anywhere in the entire world. They're fucking champion. They're actually good quality shirts. BotchPod on the front, the worst podcast in the world on the back. We're gonna give away one of these. We only have large and extra large because we're fat fucks. We're giving away one of these to someone that screenshots that they like the video, they're subscribed, DM it to @BotchPod. We're sorry about this, but it's a good listen. It's honestly a good conversation with these dudes. These guys are fucking legit. So hope you enjoy the episode, and we're fucking sorry. This won't happen again. I fucking promise you, this won't happen again.
All right, welcome back to the BotchPod, the worst podcast in the world. We are here today with Frank and Travis from Bullcreek Strategic and Escarpment Arms. How's it going?
What's up, dude?
Going good, man. Long time no see. Last time I saw you, we were shooting ranch bottles.
Yep, full autos and ranch bottles.
That
video's still floating around, man.
It is. I know. I get random comments on TikTok on that sometimes.
Oh, 100%. Dude, I get so many messages where people are like, "Yo, I saw that video of you guys full auto and ranch bottles. What the fuck was that about?" I'm like, "Oh, AJ fucking hit me up. I was like, hey, can we shoot some guns?" I was like, "Yeah." And then he showed up with $500 in fucking ranch bottles.
I just watched that video today.
For a good cause, yeah. It was for a good cause.
Yeah, that was crazy. People at Walmart thought I was crazy because I had a camera following me around, and I just filled an entire cart with ranch bottles, and they're like, "What the fuck are you?"
So we need to do Restaurant Depot next time with the big ones.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you gotta get the big ones.
The big ones? Yeah, but then you don't have as many targets to blow up and stuff.
Just get a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right?
So we need to do it better next time where we plan it
I know, yeah.
a little deeper and do some cool shit with it. Some slow-mo montages of walking and ranch bottles blowing up behind in the fucking background like you're walking away from an explosion.
Yeah, definitely can make that happen.
Metal music blasting the entire time.
All right, so for the people that don't know you guys, go ahead, introduce yourselves.
Frank with which camera?
That's your one.
That's mine. All right. Frank with Bullcreek Strategic and Escarpment Arms. Spent the better part of 10 years in the Army and then worked for the government as a contractor for a while overseas, which is actually where me and this dude met in a chow hall down in North Carolina. So he had a Bills hat on, I had a Sabres hat on, and did we just become fucking best friends? That's kind of about how it went down.
Do you want to do karate in the garage?
Yeah, yes, of course. But so worked for the government on and off in different areas, and then came back to New York and started the training company because there was a lack of education in the area. And then from the training company, it kind of turned into one of my other buddies who had a FFL in his basement, and we ended up buying that property that you came to out in Newfane and got 35 acres and fully functional firearms range that gets rented out to law enforcement agencies and federal agencies now.
That's fucking sweet. I mean, just a meeting story. That's cool.
Well, dude, that's how, in that community, contractors or military, you'll find that, any Western New York guys, they're always flying the flag. It's Bills or Sabres something. Yeah. And that's how you can tell. You're just you pick them out, right. And then, you got your crew already.
I say it was the most Buffalo meeting ever. Yeah. I feel obviously other places, but it's just so Buffalo for some reason.
Dude, I've had people in Dubai.
Really?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Outside in the city in Dubai, outside the Burj Khalifa, a dude stopped me and be yeah, let's go Buffalo. Fuck yeah, dude. Let's go, really? Man. Dude, it's a worldwide thing, man.
The craziest one for me, I was in Budapest in Hungary, and like, so I lived in Elkville for the most part before I moved up to Lockport recently. But I saw a dude with an Elkville brewing hat on. I was like, really? Like, and he's trying to be like the only guy in the town I didn't know. But like we knew all the same people. That was pretty wild.
Really?
But
That's
just to
crazy.
backtrack on your question, I'm Travis. I did 5 years in the Army, 2008 to 2013, and then contracted for the same company that Frank did from 2013 to 2020. So my last rotation to Afghanistan was July 2020 when I came back. Similar to him, I got my start training firearms in the military, and then did a lot more of it on the contracting side, both training our guys, different agency personnel overseas, military, and local nationals as well. But I was part of another group that doesn't exist anymore in Western New York, teaching here, with a guy that I actually went to high school with, and he was in 19th Group Special Forces at the time, and we linked back up and tried to do what we're doing now. It's just I was still deploying, he was still deploying. It just we couldn't hold any ground with it. But obviously Frank and I kept in touch, and I was like, hey, if you're trying to do this, like, let's
fucking do it.
Let's collaborate here
Let's
to see like
send it, man.
This is what I've got going on. Like if we can merge the two things and make it happen moving forward. And here we are. I mean, such a blessing to have that range space that we have now, because before that we we're just trying to find spots we could rent out. So it's booking stuff. You're spending extra money. But now we got our own home base, and
then you have to deal with like
awesome.
the townships that we were in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like we switched like from 2017 until last year, 5 or 6 ranges. Like
Really?
one gun club out in Silver Creek like took us under their wing. Like, hey man, use our facility. It's all yours. And they had like a 25-foot berm and like this small like piece of shit. But they went out on a limb because everyone else told us to piss off and kick rocks. They were like, hey man, come in here and do your shit. And it gave us a leg up in the industry and the community because there was really nobody doing what we were doing. From that point, we started jumping to other ranges and getting properties, and then we get other properties, and the township would be like, "Oh, you can't do that here. You can't do that. You're running an illegal business." Like, well, how? I'm teaching people how to better, martially better themselves.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
everyone
shooting
looked
guns at a gun range.
Yeah, everyone looks at it like we're shooting, like, oh, they're shooting guns. Like, well, no, we're educating people. Like, shooting is 10% of the equation. 90% is mental and physical. Like,
yeah, 100%.
And that's the thing. And like I said, now that we've got the range, like, it's a blessing because we've got people coming from all over the country, like law enforcement and from literally California flying out just to come take classes with us. And we have our own place now, our own space. So we don't have to travel as much anymore. We travel maybe 4 or 5 times a year outside of the state to go teach in other states, but we're trying to limit it now because we've got our own space.
Yeah.
So
Traveling's also got to be like a good thing for like just marketing purposes, I feel. Just
Yeah.
getting your name out there still.
Oh, it is. And it's fun, too, because of social media, people see who we are, and then, like, oh, hey, Bullcreek's coming out to California to come teach. And the classes, when we travel and teach, they're huge. And, like, we were just in Texas, and we had students come from Michigan
Really?
to fly to Texas to take a class with us. And, like, y'all could have just drove, like, 4 hours. You know that, right?
Really? That much reach and shit?
Yeah, like,
That's crazy.
it's wild, man. And the thing, like I said, and it's not what everyone thinks. It's a community. It's a network of people that are just trying to better themselves in every facet of life. Like, we got students that call us that are like taking classes with us just to tell us thank you because they became a better father or a better businessman or something. And we never thought we'd have that kind of impact on people at all. And what we were doing, we were given the ability to project information well that others can understand. And I guess that's not really a skill a lot of people have. So like I said, when it happened, it was like, oh, this is wild. Like, people are contacting us about life shit now. And it threw us back a little bit, but then we sat down like it's truly humbling just to see the effect and the reach that we've had on people. It's pretty cool.
That's sick. That's awesome. Take it back a second, because you guys mentioned like contract military and Army. You guys were both in the Army.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know, can you guys like explain the differences?
Yeah. So, like I said, I was in the Army. I was a paratrooper. I was actually stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina for majority of my career as a Pathfinder, and did some personal security stuff. Was overseas in Afghanistan for I think 17 months when I was in the Army, and then when I got out, came back home, went to NU, tried it, didn't like it. I mean, I spent 10 years in the Army. Like,
Right. Yeah. Makes
I just
sense.
didn't. I didn't fit back into society very well. It wasn't comfortable for me. So that's when I started looking into contracting as a civilian contractor overseas doing high threat protection.
Which, by the way, like, the reason a lot of dudes in the military look into that is because when you're deployed over there, you see those guys and you're like, wait a minute.
I want to be that guy. I
That
want to be
looks
that cool dude
man.
wearing
And
fucking
wait,
Chuck
they're
Taylors
making
and
a lot
shit.
of money. Like, it's mostly about the money. I'm not gonna
100%.
sugarcoat it.
Because, where else can you go make that?
You're a kid in the mill, and you think you're rich, but you're not.
$500 bi-weekly, like barely enough to fucking go out to the bar and drink, and
You see
then
these
you're getting
guys making
$600 a day.
Yeah, you see these guys making like $600-800 a day, sometimes $1,200 depending on what they're
Yeah.
doing, and you're like, well, that's awesome. I can just apply this skill set to something else. So, again, to get to your question, the contracting world, they supplement a lot of very specific skill sets overseas, or it's not even in a high threat zone. Sometimes they do it stateside, even on bases. To guys that, it could be, certain types of mechanics or, construction type guys or anyone dealing with like IT or something like that, say that they have like a highly specified civilian skill set, they'll bring them on to augment what the military lacks in those personnel. And they can afford to pay them more because they're not paying for their whole lifestyle. They're not paying the insurances and medical benefits and food and housing and all that stuff. But for us, the high threat diplomatic protection, so every country that we have relations with has a U.S. embassy or consulates somewhere. And you have your diplomats that work at those embassies or consulates. But if it's a higher threat or non-permissive environment, AJ, who might be an agricultural guy, he's not going outside the wire in Kabul to meet with the Ministry of Agriculture, because you might end up on Al Jazeera in an orange jumpsuit or something. You don't know the city. You don't have the skill set to navigate the area. So then you
Just look at his face. Holy shit.
So they'll hire guys who have high threat experience in those parts of the world, and specifically, the personal security detail type movements where you know how to do convoy or motorcade operations, plan missions, do tactical site assessments, and your goal is to keep that person, the principal, VIP, whatever you want to call them, safe en route to your target area or your venue. Keep them safe on the venue. Make sure they don't do anything stupid that could cause some type of international incident, and then get them back. It's essentially
We're glorified limo drivers.
Combat Uber, man. Combat Uber,
basically. But
You guys have any crazy stories from that?
oh man, crazy stuff.
What's a crazy? Just put it that way.
I mean, there's.
Put me on the spot.
I know, right? I mean, there's. It's kind of hard to pinpoint because you gotta think. We're a bunch of fucking Neanderthals, man. We're a bunch of knuckle draggers. So when you put a group of us together in any situation, we make the most of it because we've always been put in shitty situations. So pretty much any time we deploy with our team, it's always a shit show. When we're at work, we're at work.
Right.
It's fucking locked down and everyone's shit is tight. But as soon as work is done, it's game on, fucking pool parties under palm trees and shit. It's not what everyone thinks it is. Everyone's like, oh, it's combat zone. Here we are, tanning outside
and
by
that's
a
the
fucking
thing of
pool.
it too. It's not like you're going 100 miles an hour all the time, just fully turned on. It's a lot of downtime. You get a lot of time in the gym. I think I watched all of Netflix at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But that majority of the time of dullness is at times punctuated by intense chaos. And I've been shot at. I have shot back at people. Things have blown up in close proximity to me plenty of times. But you say crazy story. Besides the dangerous side of it, some of the funnier things are what I remember the most, because it's shit that happens in combat. It could be just so surreal and comical. This truth is stranger than fiction. You're just is this really fucking happening right now? It's something you would never imagine. One of my birthdays over there, probably my most memorable moment, which it's not even that crazy
Mine's
story,
on my
but
birthday
it was
too.
just so wild.
Holy shit.
We went out on a longer movement for at least where we were. I mean, these guys used to do like 3-4 hour movements. For us, an hour and a half was outside the city. I mean, Kabul's a small city. And then Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, most people think, oh, it's the desert, right? It is most certainly not. I mean, their elevation is higher than Denver. They get snow. They get as much snow as we do. It gets real cold. We were on this longer movement up to the mountains. My birthday's in February. And we had to go secure this site, which was, he was a warlord, but he was like our warlord. He's a good guy at that moment. They shift all the time. And we had to secure a landing zone and then the whole venue for the ambassador. And it was just crazy sitting on this mountaintop, securing this venue. You're overlooking everything. I mean, you're surrounded by all these Afghan guys that far superior numbers, and they definitely they outnumber you. And you're like, I hope nothing bad happens here, because you're at their mercy. I mean, there's only one tiny road, one way in, one way out.
It's got to be sketchy.
And then you're just watching, the ambassador's helicopter come in like low and slow, riding like nap of the earth around the side of the mountains, and just like the views were amazing because everything's snow covered. I mean, when the place is covered in snow, it looks wonderful. When it's covered in dust, it's not. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, because I'm a big skier, being from Elkville. My dad was a ski racing coach, going to Holiday Valley all the time. I was like, dude, when I get out of here, I'm going to start a heli skiing business in Afghanistan. And that was like the one memory from that day that I was like, this would be awesome, like just adventure tourism. And, I haven't got it started yet, but it's kind of very non-permissive there now. So I'm glad I didn't put any money into it.
That's the thing is like, out of all the countries I've gone to, like Afghanistan probably is like one of the most gorgeous fucking countries. It's fucking
Really?
Dude, and it's fine. It's good. Yeah, it's like probably one of the most gorgeous countries I ever went to. Like
parts of it, yeah.
I first got there, I'm like,
not so much Helmand. Helmand's just flat
that place is shit. But like once you get up north, so you've got like the south, which was shit, like when it came to the ground and stuff, and then once you got up north, it was shit because of the atmosphere of what was the kinetic atmosphere of what was going on. But it was green. Like flowing rivers, fucking cows, like walking through pastures and shit. Like you look outside and it's just like something you'd see in like a movie. Like it's just picture perfect mountains covered in green, like people living off of like the rivers and shit, like gorgeous. And then you get a little bit
very much like medieval.
Yeah,
I mean, like
you get a little bit up past that and you get into like the Korengal and Pesh River Valley, and it's like, oh, this place is gorgeous. Pop, pop, pop. Like, oh, fuck, this is real. All right. Like, let me get that out of my fucking head here, like real quick. Like, oh shit, like. My first time flying through to go up north, and we're sitting in a Black Hawk, just looking out. I'm like, man, this place is gorgeous. And it's like nighttime, just looking through nods. I'm like, this looks pretty at nighttime too. Like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden, tracers start like going off. I'm like, are they shooting at us? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh.
Is that what that looks like?
That's what that looks like from up here. Like, all right, could you see fucking tracers
like
coming up? Like, why are they shooting at fucking helicopters? Like, yeah, we're high. We're too high. You're not going to hit us. Like, why are you doing that? And it was like,
Wouldn't you, though? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that was what life was like. It was fucking for us, that was normal to see that. I was like, oh, all right, they're shooting at us. Cool. Like, let's fucking keep rolling on doing our shit, right?
That's craziness.
But, yeah, like, so my incident that comes to mind, since once you said birthday, it kind of clicked in my head. My birthday is July 3rd, so my grandfather, who was in the Air Force.
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
I was thinking about it, but I don't want to cut him off, you jackass.
Oh, you're good. No, so my grandfather, who was in the Air Force, and like I was telling you, he always talked shit about me being in the Army. And then when I went contracting, he always talked shit about me being a contractor. And the joke was, I'll never make it to my 30th birthday if I keep up doing what I'm doing for life. Like, I've had plastic surgery on my face, like metal pulled out of it and stuff. Like, I've had a knee reconstruction, like 6 herniated discs in my back, like right rotator surgery. Like, I can't feel like these 2 fingers on my hands. Like, I'm fucking broken for being 36. So,
got some miles on me.
Yeah, I got some fucking miles on me. And that week leading up to my birthday, the Secretary of Defense and the Vice President came to the embassy. So planned that stuff for like a week, whatever. Did our mission with them. They left. I never changed my radio channels. And the next day, one of my boys calls me, and he's like, yo, dude, I got fucking Call of Duty 2. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I found a Call of Duty 2 in the fucking lounge. He's like, let's play that shit. I'm like, hell yeah. So we're all sitting there playing Call of Duty 2, and all of a sudden the radio goes off, and the call sign goes, or the keyword or call word, whatever you want to call it, goes off for the ambo to get off the embassy. And we're like, oh shit, like that's not training. There's no training going on today. It was like a Saturday or some shit. That's weird. So immediately I look at get on my computer real quick, like, hey, everyone meet me downstairs at like the main area, like our main meeting point. Like, all right. Everyone shows down in kit, and my project manager standing there. He's like, what are you guys doing? He's like, the ambo just got exfilled. Like, what's going on? He's like, I need you guys here, here, and here. I'm like, all right, shit, cool. We get outside, and all we hear is like gunfire, yelling, and screaming, and we're like, oh, this is fucking real. So you've got us contractors wearing fucking Chuck Taylor's shorts and a fucking plate carrier running across the embassy, and you've got State Department nerds like, whoa, what's going on? Like, what are you guys running for? I'm like, have you ever seen me in full kit and a fucking gun running? Like, no. I'm like, so you should probably go the opposite direction and not ask fucking questions. Like, Jesus Christ. So we're posted up on a rooftop, and one of the dudes that was with me like knew about my birthday, and that was my birthday that day. My phone rings, and I look at it, it's my grandfather. I'm like, fuck. I was like, I gotta answer this, like, shit. And he's like, you're gonna answer that phone call right now? I'm like, it's my fucking grandfather. If I don't answer, he's gonna think something's fucking wrong.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
So I answer it, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Papa? And he was like, I just wanted to wish your stupid ass a happy birthday. And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And he was like, so how's your day going? I'm like, oh, it's going pretty good. It's like, just hanging out by the fucking pool, chilling, relaxing, having a couple drinks. And he's like, bullshit, I'm watching the fucking news right now, you asshole. I'm like, ah, shit. And he's like, I fucking told you, 30th birthday. He's like, you're never gonna fucking make it. This is not you.
It's all over for you today.
And I'm like, this is not the time to have this fucking conversation, Papa. Like, we really can't do this right now, but I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. And I hung the phone up, and like all the dudes on my team were like, yeah, we need to get you off this fucking rooftop. We don't need this right now. And I'm like, nah, we're fucking good. Meanwhile, what happened was the civilians of Baghdad, it was one of the prior elections, they weren't happy with the way it turned out. So they decided that they were going to breach
never happens.
Yeah, right. They decided they were going to breach the green zone and start terrorizing Parliament. And they started pulling like political officials out of their cars, beating them, hanging them, doing all kinds of crazy shit. So as we're sitting there on the rooftops watching it, we're like, oh, this is the moment. Like, this is that one moment that everyone has in their career that sets them apart from everybody else. And they rushed right past us.
It's like, man, no one's going to make a movie about me now.
Right fucking past us. And we're like, not that we want something to happen, but like, when you live that lifestyle, like, that's what you look forward to, things like that. Like that little moment of, I get to do work right now. And it sounds fucking horrible.
Well, you look forward to the test.
Yeah,
you don't join a team
test.
to only practice, right? You want to play the game.
You want to play the game. So thousands of people just rush right past us, and they're like, we love America, and like go right past us and go do their shit that they were trying to do. And we all just stood there like, oh, I'm kind of glad nothing happened, but all right. And everything went down. Like 24 hours later, we get off the rooftops. I call my grandfather on July 4th because it's his birthday on July 4th.
Oh, okay.
So I called him to wish him a happy birthday. And he was like, well, I see you fucking made it. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks to you, though, for fucking trying to jinx me. Like, holy shit. And he was like, well, you got 35. And he was like, that's your fucking next one.
Oh, man. At least Grandpa's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, Grandpa had a sense of humor.
That's good. Max, if you take the little dial, if you take the little side piece. No, I'm saying, you know the little knob?
Which knob? That knob?
Yeah, Max, and just pull it back a little bit because the mic is weighing it down so much. Because then we'll just pull it back the slightest bit. There you go.
There's always one of them.
There's always.
We gotta mark it.
Right,
There's always one
that
of
thing's
them that
wicked.
slides down slowly.
That thing's wicked, dude. Max about to break it. He's cranking it so hard.
So you're just trying to, like, as you're talking, just leaning forward.
Just hold it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So was there what? I'm sorry, I keep asking these questions.
No, dude, you're good.
What was there ever a moment that you really actually thought you were about to die?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been plenty of moments like that.
Let's see the way they just answered that. They're like, well, that's fine. Yeah, well, of course.
It's.
You mean?
So, I guess normal people in their everyday life, they have moments like that. What, like 3 or 4 times in their lifetime, like car accident,
had one yet.
like a car accident or something like that, or like anything. Like for us, it becomes a normalcy to us, to where we have that switch. we turn it on and turn it off. So, yeah, there's been instances where it's happened, but to us, like I said, it's normal. Like, it's nothing out of the ordinary. Like, you go to work every day. That was our work. So to us, it was a job. So yes, our job was dangerous and shit happened. But yeah, to try and pinpoint it down, like, yeah.
Like, it's always a possibility. That's
100%.
It's never a debate.
You don't go into that job thinking it's not going to happen. But you go into that job hoping it's not going to happen.
Yeah, hope is not a tactic, which is why you train.
Try to be it's not a course of action either.
On top of your game all the time. People to prepare for that like adrenaline rush?
Well, like stress inoculation is a real thing, right? So you can add stress by inducing physical strain on them. So get someone smoked by doing like some type of calisthenics or like heavy workouts or whatever, something to get you tired, get your heart rate going, and then force them to perform their job. Because under a body alarm response, when you have that adrenaline dump, you are going to have that elevated heart rate. You're not going to be as alert. You're going to be kind of sucked in. You get that tunnel vision. But you can train yourself through that stuff if your like cognitive processing and your subconscious ability to complete tasks is good enough when you have it, like a perfect nice day and you're working through, talk about like just weapon manipulations, right? Because that's our thing. If you know how to do your weapon manipulations like fluidly and perfectly when everything's fine, you can perform those things under stress as well because you have so many repetitions of doing it. Then it just becomes natural. You're not thinking about it. Yeah. It needs to be like ingrained in your competent subconscious level. So you're not thinking about it and you're doing it well. As opposed, so there's like 4 levels of capabilities, right? So there's conscious incompetence where you know nothing. Oh, I'm sorry, no. The first one is subconscious incompetence where you have no idea what you're doing and you have no idea how to even get there. All right. And then there's conscious incompetence where you kind of have an idea what you should be doing, but you have no idea how to do it. And then, what's the next one? The other 2. It would be conscious competence. So you know what to do, but you have to think through it. And then subconscious competence where it's like it is just ingrained in you. You go right through those mechanics and you are very capable at that skill without having to think about it. Right? It would be the same thing for sports or anything else.
It's like taking a piss when you're drunk.
Yeah, you don't have to think about taking a piss. Yeah.
And then, so how you get to that point is like, I guess the best example would be like when you're working like CQB, like room clearing. So everyone thinks like, oh, I want to do like, that looks fucking awesome. Like that's what I want to train and learn how to do. It's not as easy as everybody makes it out to be. Like there's a process to get to that point. So when we're working with departments and agencies or military or whatever, it's like a 4-day process to get even in the house to do anything. Like the first day, we're working basic fundamentals on a flat range, like the range that you were on, like a flat range, doing just basic fundamentals, grip, trigger, and a little bit of movement. And the second day, a lot of movement, a lot more kinetic energy, doing barricade work, vehicle work, working around mock doorways and stuff. Then you go into using tape, like contractors tape, building glass houses, or cones. So you've got little buildings drawn on the ground, and you start working around those buildings.
So you can still see everything in front of you, but you're working within the confines of those lines. Dude, it's like a choreographed dance procedure. You're working footwork, you're working where your eyes are going to, where you move to, your points of domination. It's depending on what type of CQB that group wants to do, and they're based on their operating procedures. But even to take it back to make it even simpler, right? When we're just training like an average civilian, say, hey, I just got a gun for the first time. I got my permit, I got a handgun, I want to carry it, but I don't even know which way the bullet comes out. All right, so they are, subconscious incompetent. I know nothing, and I don't even know how to know anything about it. Right? We're trying to get them to that point where they're at least familiar and comfortable just with the shooting, just the manipulation and the operation of that firearm. All right, so they can be safe with it, and they're not scared of it because they know how to at least operate it in a safe manner and then be relatively accurate and relatively quick enough. In shooting, there's only 2 things that matter: speed and accuracy, and you have to be able to blend the 2 to get the hits that are desired on the targets that you need to put down. So if we can get someone to that point, that is the very beginning. That is just scratching the surface. So I'm piggybacking off of Frank was saying, when he's talking about moving around in CQB, dude, just learn how to shoot that thing, that's checkers.
Yeah.
Put it all together in real life, when there's stress factors, there's multiple variables, there could be other people, no shoot targets amongst a shoot target, that's chess.
Yeah.
So learning how to think and how to move, that's much more to the equation. Like that's the bottom of the iceberg. The very tip is the majority of the stuff that we show folks.
Yeah. So
because that's where you have to start.
So to get back to what I was saying before, like, not that he's went off topic of it, is you work your way up to that certain point. So like after the third day, all right, hey, now we're going to walk through the house. And now you're walking through the house, just seeing it, walking it, dry fire. Yeah. Do that for 2-3 hours, then boom, live fire. You're going in there and you're shooting. But the point is you do those first 3 days of being outside of the house, so then when you get inside of the house, you're not thinking about stance, trigger squeeze, sight picture, sight alignment. You're literally going in, target, 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 and you're target focused. And you're not thinking about the whole process because you've done it 3 days prior leading up to there for 24 hours. So it all becomes subconscious and natural to you. Yeah. Same thing with the way that our classes are designed for teaching civilians is you've got a technique class, which is like a level 1, and then you go up to a tactics or a practical class, which would be level 2 and level 3. So you work your way up to that higher standard. So then when you start running, gunning, moving around vehicles and doing things, God forbid you ever get put into that situation, which I hope nobody ever has to get into, subconsciously you should know, like, all right, this is what I have to do right now. You're going to process everything that's happening. This is the right thing to do. Draw your firearm, use your firearm.
Yeah, and the use of that firearm can no longer be something you have to think through. That's what you have to train into, because you can't waste that time gap that you have, which could be fractions of a second, to be thinking about, hey, where does my grip go on my gun? How do I align these sights again? That just needs to be able to happen. That needs to be subconscious. You need to be able to think through what's happening in front of you and around you.
Naturally grab that thing and
snapping a football.
That shooting needs to be ingrained. That needs to be in your subconscious competence.
It makes sense. It does.
Yeah, just like sports with anything is you're training, you're practicing so much.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that when you were explaining how you were doing the first 3 days like outside and stuff, and then you get inside and you're just naturally looking for targets. You know,
Like I said, snapping a football, you're not you're processing a little bit of what's happening for about 2 seconds, and then you have to fucking execute.
Act on it. Yeah. Thanks, producer. It's the producer. That's what he's there for. Bitch. Poor kid.
No, that's sick though. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I feel like that's like anything in life, but people don't think about it with like guns.
No. Like I said, everyone thinks about guns as their guns. They go bang. But that's what we do is we try and educate people to realize that that's not all they are.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, training is training, you know, in any skill whatsoever. I mean, you got to crawl, walk, run. You can't just jump right into it and want to be a hero and an expert. And then there are people that have natural talent, but natural talent only gets you so far. I mean, there's always going to be someone better than you, and you just have to work. Like, the thing that we like to stress in our classes, too, is instead of chasing a metric or a certain number, you know, like a speed on a timer or a capability of like shots in a certain time frame in a certain target area, we would rather have performance where you are chasing a better version of yourself, not what someone else is doing. All right, so it's performance-based outcomes. So I'm just saying, hey, did I do better than I did before, rather than an outcome-based performance, which is like, hey, I'm just trying to hit this time.
Right.
And you'll see people train like that all the time. With anything, you know, if dudes are trying to shoot a certain drill really fast, instead of breaking it down to smaller elements and making it little micro drills where, hey, I'm just working the first part, which might be the draw, getting the gun out. Just work that. And if that's too hard, you work the first part of just getting my hand on the gun. How quick can I do that? Can I get a good purchase? Was it where it needed to be? Okay, now let's match my hands up when I just want to come out. I'm not even bringing on sights on the target yet. And then once we get there, cool. Now we'll put the whole thing together. Now we got that down. All right, now we're going to get that first shot. How quick can I get that first shot and get a good hit? Once that's together, then we'll put together whatever extra rounds come after that. So you break it down into those small pieces. And it's tough because in the shooting world, the majority of the folks that are doing it, they're dudes. Everyone's an alpha, or, you know, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Tell me how to
Yeah,
shoot.
and a bunch of meat eaters, right? We're all so fucking cool. So you'll have guys that, fuck it, I'm just gonna go through the whole thing, and you're just gonna, again, hope is not a tactic. You're just gonna hope it gets better, and you know you might, but you're just gonna be making a lot of expensive noise in the process and fucking up a whole bunch. So instead, there's ego involved, and you have to take that shit out of it and say, hey, I'm fucking up. I'm wasting my time and my money with this ammo. Let me break it down into small pieces. Make sure each one of those is good to go, and then you put it all together. And that's what we love to do with our classes. And people can see market improvement like, almost immediately if you do break things down. Because, you know, I could tell you, hey, you're doing 16 things wrong. You're not going to fucking remember 16 things. You might be doing a million things wrong. I'm going to pick the most egregious one and work on that.
That makes sense.
And that's what we like to do.
Ammo is fucking expensive.
No, it's ridiculous. Man, I can't.
It was worse.
Yeah,
it's not so bad
it's
now.
gotten a lot better. I mean, before, like 2 years ago, 1,000 rounds of 9mm was like $200 or $175. Now you're probably looking at
It's about four or five-ish, depending on where you get it from.
last year. It was like $1 a round.
Yeah.
Like, and for us doing what we do, like, it was hard. It was really fucking hard because it was costing us so much money to teach to where point where spider. We were breaking even at classes, which we didn't start the business to make money. Like, obviously every business, you start a business to make money.
You want to make money, yeah.
You want to make money. But for us, it was, like I said, we were given the ability to project information well. So we wanted to share that with people. It was a side hustle. And then that side hustle, like any other business half the time, it's a side hustle and turns into a full-time hustle pretty quick if you're decent at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And for us, like, it was getting way too expensive to shoot. So we were lowering round counts to try and, like, augment that. And then as we lowered round counts, students were like, well, I want to shoot more.
Right.
It's like, well,
Okay, money
all right,
bags.
well, I guess we're freaking shooting more, but like if we're shooting more, I got to raise the price of classes.
See, that's what I was wondering. Like, how do you run your classes? Is it like they pay for ammo, or is it like a set thing? Set fee? Because like when that happened, like that had to have affected you like a year ago.
Oh,
That's actually a really good question
Yeah.
because folks who don't come in, they don't realize that. So typically in any firearms class across the board, unless you have like a really big name that has a ton of inventory and can accommodate it, like through sponsors or something, you're bringing your own guns, you're bringing your own ammo, you're just showing up, you're paying for the instructor's time.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. There are places in the country that have a big enough like giant ranch or something where it's just, hey, package deal. You show up, here's your 1,000 rounds, here's the gear that you might want, you know, all that type of stuff. It does exist. That would be awesome if we could do that, but we're not there yet.
No.
So it's just kind of like you supply almost everything.
We supply the range and the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
And
So
the
you
instruction.
supply-
So
Yeah.
they bring their own.
Yeah, they're bringing their own
Okay, so
guns, they're bringing their own gear,
So
their
did that
own
affect
ammo.
Business at all too? It had to have, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Did it slow down? Like,
Well, it slowed down a tiny bit. Probably, I'd say right when COVID kicked off, like we still ran classes. Like we didn't stop running classes because we book out a year out. So
oh shit, really?
Did you run into any troubles with that?
no.
It really wasn't that big of a hiccup.
it wasn't
for us.
that big of a hiccup. Like I said, for like a couple months, we had to like reschedule 2 classes because like a bunch of students were like, "Hey, I don't want to be out there on a bunch of people." Which
You gotta realize
fair.
though
It's
that
understandable.
the last like a year and a half ago, like yes, COVID had shut down a lot of things. Right? So the reason you had that ammo shortage that you did, COVID was shutting down manufacturers
Yep.
for everything across the country. So you have a decreased supply. But at the same time, just by happenstance, there were legitimate riots and cities burning down, right?
Oh, yeah.
People were realizing that the police as a whole may not be there to protect you. And seeing that, like, when people form together in mass, it can be very destructive and very violent very quickly.
Devastating.
And if you are just a bystander who wants nothing to do with it, well, I mean, the cops there aren't enough of them.
right.
So, do you want to still sit there and outsource your protection to someone else, or do you want to maybe start thinking about things and take it in your own hands?
Right.
So at the same time, you had several, I think it was, I don't remember the exact number, it was in the millions of new gun owners. So at the same time that you had this ammo shortage, the decreased supply, you had an increased demand because of all the people who are new gun owners. They're going to want to buy a couple boxes of ammo.
And all the
so those are all the wrong numbers, which is going to create the shortage that we had.
That was the big thing too. Is like I said, all the FUDs out there that just went out and they saw fucking ammo,
out, right? Or,
yeah, they'd see ammo, they'd buy it all, and they'd stick it in their fucking basement.
I saw that everywhere.
I can't fault people for doing that. I get it, but
like, why do you have a 55-gallon drum filled with fucking 9mm in your basement? You can't take it with you.
I mean,
and the thing is like they're buying it and they're not using it.
Yeah.
Like then you got people who are trying to better themselves and come take classes.
Well, that's
with
just
anybody.
it, right?
They can't because they can't get the ammo because your fucking neighbor is storing 55-gallon drums of it in his fucking basement.
That's just it. If you're not going to train and get good with that tool, because that's essentially what that firearm is, a tool, it's not going to be any good for you. And I might rub a lot of people the wrong way by saying this, but unless you're a collector just to collect, like, I can only shoot one gun at a time. I'm not fucking Duke Nukem, right? I'm not going to be running around with tons of guns. To be proficient, I would rather have one firearm that I'm very comfortable with, that I can rely on, that I'm very good with, as opposed to dozens of them that safe queens. They just sit there and collect dust, and I don't get any trigger time on any of them.
I mean, but if that's what you want to do, if you want to collect guns, I support you by all means.
But just be
like, go for it.
Just understand what your capabilities are with those tools.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. I have a carry gun that I like very much, and that's pretty much the only one that I worry about. I have a rifle for the rifle applications that we teach with.
Yeah.
And my hunting rifle, and I get as much time as I feel that I need on each one of those.
Yep.
So like on the whole collecting thing, like, are you just talking about like if you collect guns and like obviously there's no beef or anything, but collect guns and don't store the ammo. Like, do you guys collect anything, or like I don't mean like have a ton of them, but like you guys have like a little. I always thought the coolest thing was like having a rack of shit.
Like the wall in my office.
I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a sweet little panic room that I press a button and the bookcase opens up and there's just guns everywhere. But I am not a rich man.
Yeah.
That shit is
like
expensive.
the wall in my office, like that's my collection.
Do you have like a little?
Like I do, but it only has like 7 guns on it.
They all get used.
They all get used.
Yeah, see, that's
and
the
people
thing.
will come into the store and be like, "Oh, you want a gun store? You probably have tons of guns." I'm like, that wall in there is what I have because my thing is it's a tool.
Right.
Like that's how I was brought up around
I don't
firearms.
get to use it enough. It's not really.
It's
that
got
good
a purpose to it. So like if I can't, if there's no purpose to it, I don't want it because I can't use it for something. So that's why I don't have a ton of guns. Like I've got the guns from when my grandfather passed and stuff because those are like heirlooms. But if a cool gun comes through the store or something like that, or I'm like, oh, that's cool, like sweet. And everyone else is like, oh, like how much does he want for that? I'm like, I don't know, ask him. Like, I don't want it. Like, I've got no need for it. Like, it doesn't serve my purpose.
I get it. Like, if you got the money or you just like the shit that much, just like anything else, I ain't gonna stop you from having it. I mean, go for it, man.
Everything.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
No, people are. Yeah,
people are insane.
100%, man.
Collecting buttons and shit.
Yeah,
I'd rather collect.
That's right,
than
buttons.
though.
Shit, my girlfriend's got a friend that collects buttons. It
Yeah?
reminded me of that. And it was just mind blowing. I had so many button questions,
like,
which she didn't know, of course.
that's weird.
like what?
No, that's fucking weird.
really
this button
weird.
came from.
It's really
There's
weird.
pennies and shit. I saw a
This was Queen
1958
Victoria's
penny.
third button on her wedding
There's
dress.
pennies going for 300 grand.
The coins
right
and shit. Dude.
That's ridiculous.
Literally, people collect
The coin thing, I could get that. Like
Oh,
the
dude,
coin thing, like because
people
like
get
you said,
crazy
there's
about
pennies
it,
that are
though.
worth 300 grand.
Yeah,
And like that's kind of fucking
my
neat.
buddy's grandparents out in Lackawanna. He lives in Denver now. He was up here last month visiting real quick, and he was telling me, he's like, dude, I was talking to him. They're getting kind of old, and they said that he's like, well, we have a retirement plan. And he's like, oh, what's that, Grandma? And she got this fucking penny, 1 penny. And she's like, yeah, if you look at the date, I don't remember what the date was. It was minted at this place and this date. So he's like, fuck. Okay, let me look.
Damn, all
He's like, do you have like paperwork on it or anything? And I'm like, no, it's just this penny. All right, cool. So he looks it up. I guess there was like a certain set of pennies in that year because it was like during the Depression where they went to like steel stamped ones instead of the copper. But like the first 100 were copper and like those are worth a whole bunch of money. But the steel ones ain't worth shit. Well, it was a steel one, so it wasn't worth shit, but he didn't have the heart to tell him.
Oh, no. Collections are a weird thing, man. You got to be a...
Well, what do you collect?
Oh, shit.
I mean, you asked the question. What do you collect?
Do I collect anything? What do I collect?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you kind of got like the whole shoe thing.
I was going to say, you got a room full of uncreased sneakers?
I used to. I do have a lot of sneakers, but this
Are you
guy
gonna
has.
out me or something?
Yeah, you got a fucking picture frame full of Supreme stickers.
Yeah, I just haven't taken that down though. I gotta sell those.
He's got stickers that are worth like what, 200, 300 bucks.
Yeah,
Stickers?
yeah, I got into it back in the day, but like I don't even like
Supreme.
I don't
like,
even
you
think
see
about
this,
it anymore.
There's a Supreme speaker over there. There's probably a bunch
Honestly,
of
that doesn't even do anything for me anymore, though. I gotta sell those. We gotta get on that. Because like I stare at them sometimes, like, wow, those are an eyesore. I do have to sell those. Damn, you're right. I do collect something. You collect shit.
cards.
Jerseys,
Kinda.
cards,
I have autographed jerseys and
Standard
yeah,
stuff.
football
That's pretty
cards.
cool.
cards.
I don't really collect cards now.
This man's been going crazy with cards.
Yeah, because they're coming on buffalo-af.com soon.
Oh, he's been going crazy. He's been spending way too much money on fucking trading cards.
Yeah.
At least it's not Pokemon
Josh Allen's a
cards.
goat. That's all.
Dude,
I'm gonna say.
he's something, man. Oh my god, I'd have a heart attack if I spent that much on a piece of paper. Oh my god.
Like what was it that Paul Logan or whatever that spent like $3 million on that fucking Pokemon card?
Logan
and like
Paul.
Logan
Yeah,
Paul.
Logan
He said
Paul.
Paul Logan.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, dude.
Dude, that's
That guy.
crazy.
like $3 million
shit.
on a fucking Pokemon card
Dude,
that
that's
ended
a
up being
whole lot
like
of
fake or some
money.
shit.
You know what he did? It was PSA graded. He got a diamond crusted around the outside of the case.
Yeah.
And put it on a diamond chain.
Yeah.
And if you got it, and if
That's
that's,
some
it's worth
crazy
that
shit.
to
Wore
you.
it to his boxing match.
Well, I
too.
think Jake, or did Jake do it last?
No, it was-
Who did it? Oh, he worked at a wrestling main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah, WWE.
Yeah.
Then he worked there. Yeah.
$3 million on a fucking Pokemon card.
That's crazy.
Where did I go wrong in my fucking
That's
life?
what I'm saying. Like,
holy shit.
I wish I had like that kind of income just to be like, yeah, I'll take that. Like,
Well, I mean, like, just
what?
think about, like, I mean, me and him, I mean, we're in our late 30s. Like, some of the shit that we used to play with when we were kids, like,
No shit.
if we didn't touch any of it, like,
You guys are talking 30s. I know I'm talking about stuff that's not even like super expensive yet, and I'm like, I used to have all this.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Oh, dude, my kid, he's about to be 13 next month. When he was little, he was like 3 years old. He was over at my folks' place, and my mom had saved all my GI Joes. Like, and you know how they are when they get old, they lose their thumbs, they get the dry rot little rubber band, and connects the top and bottom together. Well, I don't know why you give that shit to a 3-year-old, but he ripped them all apart, like ripping legs off, and he didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So like a couple years ago, we were at some it was like a comic book store that had a lot of those GI Joes. I yoked him up, like, come here, bud, look at this. Like, you see that guy? They want like $40 for that guy now.
You broke that
Like, you ripped his head off. I was like, this guy you ripped in half. You can't get a little rubber band in there no more. Like, this dude don't have any thumbs. Like, how much lawn did you mow recently? Because you owe me a whole bunch of cash.
you owe me a lot of money, son. A lot of money.
That's funny. That's good stuff.
I watch these dudes that break cards. Like, they break boxes of cards. People buy into the breaks. Like, they'll pay $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, whatever, to get a spot in a break. And they'll get certain teams. And these dudes broke, they got a LeBron triple logo, man. So the card has a piece of the logo, the NBA logo, from a Cavs jersey, a Lakers jersey, and Heat jersey, all on one card. And it just sold for $2.4 million.
fucking nuts.
Like, what's the card counterfeit business look like? Just got, just spitballing
I
here.
feel like that's China. I feel like that's going on in China.
I would, yeah, it's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Everyone counterfeits everything.
They counterfeit guns.
So that's why.
Yeah,
like,
there's
like-
companies that, like,
They're like fake
Oh,
Berettas
dude, like
and stuff out there.
every
Yeah, there's-
contractor
yeah.
that I know
See, I never even
came
thought- I
back
would
from
never-
overseas with like a Rolex or a real
yeah,
nice
dude.
Bulgari or something.
Yeah.
It ain't real.
100%. But
actually, I gotta give him, like, Mike actually looked at mine and he questioned it. He's like, he's gotta send it out and take it apart. Because when he took it, he looked at it, he was like,
Oh,
I
no.
think you might have actually, like, walked away with a real Rolex, bro. And I'm
You
like,
didn't,
I
but
don't know.
they make them good enough
Yeah, they do.
that they get the guts
Yeah,
from somewhere
no one's gonna-
reputable, and
you know, like, no one's
they
gonna
can
walk
pass
by,
inspection to the untrained eye. So I've heard.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like, if you can, I couldn't tell if it was real or not unless it was.
And it was actually part of like the customs form when you, or not form, but like the shit that they would check when you'd come back. Like, you were allowed to have like only so many of them, which was amazing that you were allowed to have any. But
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you can get away with a couple watches. That's fine.
I got a couple Folexes.
Yeah.
I bring them out. once
Nothing
in a
wrong with
while.
that.
No.
Get your
Yeah,
flex on or
Yeah.
something. Like, whatever.
I got
Hey.
one big Panerai, this giant thing. It was the only one I ever got because it looked cool.
I think I spent like $150 on like
for sure.
or something like that.
Damn, that's a slapping deal.
Oh, dude, they had folks for everything over there at the bazaars and shit.
Yeah, your fucking sweet ass jacket.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I had
He's got
I had
a Bane jacket, like a fucking
Batman Bane, how he had that huge like leather jacket with this huge like sheepskin fur collar.
Yeah.
Dude, I just brought a picture and showed the guy. I was like, bro, this. And he's like, okay, sir, yeah. For my good friend, I give you a good price. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm like your best friend. You don't say that to anybody else. But yeah, dude, hooked it up. It looks sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I wore it to a SHOT Show in Vegas a couple of years back when we went.
It is a pretty dope jacket. I'm actually glad that I didn't ask him to get one made for me.
Super obnoxious.
Like, not gonna lie, I'm like, damn, that's fucking sweet.
I missed out. God damn.
Yeah, I fucked up.
I also had him make me 2 king-size wolf fur blankets.
Jesus Christ.
Because they would get like wolf fur from Russia, where they're not endangered. All right, it's just regular. I'm sure they practice,
Disclaimer.
clean harvesting, ethical hunting practices or trapping, whatever they're doing.
100% Russia.
But yeah,
Guaranteed. Yeah.
But I mean, the guy already had the skin, so I was like, it was when Game of Thrones had the last season. I was like, that's pretty gangster, man. I want to get in on one of those. But yeah, I mean, the thing's sweet, and I got it for probably 1/10 of what anyone would get it for in North America.
Right.
It's like, why the hell not?
That's cool. That's funny. The little things that you just take and get from there. That's funny.
A lot of people would get rugs, like carpets.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a big thing.
Carpets
It's
were
Afghan
huge.
carpet, man. It's a
Oh,
whole,
yeah.
it's a whole
Because
thing.
they're still
thousands of dollars.
They were still hand fucking strung carpets.
That's cool shit, though.
Yeah.
Some shit
So
you can't
what
really
you
get
would
out
pay
here.
here for one of those,
That'd
probably
be
like
insane.
10 grand.
Yeah.
We get it for like maybe $500 there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I never really even thought about that. Never even.
For something you're going to walk on.
Yeah, right. That's
Don't
crazy.
touch that fucking
Take your
carpet.
damn shoes
especially.
off.
Take your shoes
I
off.
know this guy that's like, he's deployed over near Japan, I think. Like somewhere. Like he's Navy. And he's always like selling sneakers and like Bape,
Yeah, I know. a
bathing
kid.
ape, like
Probably know the same kid.
made in Japan.
What's his
yeah.
name? Say the first name.
I'm not gonna say, but I don't trust buying shit from him because I'm like, that's probably fake.
What's the first name? Start with an N?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, I'm sorry.
No, he's a cool guy though.
He's
a
really
cool
cool.
guy.
Kind of a weird
But
guy. Sorry.
yeah, I don't know. He's over there, fucking Japan.
Doing
I'm
his
like,
thing.
that's
Yeah, fucking
the
living up
capital
life
of,
right
like,
now,
faking
basically.
Shit, so
Yeah.
All those dudes, like, well, that's the cool thing about the fucking Navy, man. They join the Navy, or join the military, you get to see the world. You don't get to see the world unless you're in the fucking Navy, like, or the Air Force.
Yeah.
Like
Air
the Air
Force
Force,
boy.
yeah, the Air Force gets to fucking go places and do cool shit.
Shit.
The Army's
I got
like,
to
hey,
see
you're going
Georgia,
to the,
Missouri.
you're going to the fucking mountains. That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did some Fort Drum training.
My cousin's cousin just came back, or he's stationed in Germany right now. I don't.
See, that's cool as shit.
Army or something. And he's stationed there for something. I don't know specifics, but I know he was telling a story last weekend about how every other Saturday he goes to the whorehouse because
Yeah.
like he doesn't bother talking to women. He's like, why the fuck would I talk to him when I could just pay for it? I don't really care. And then he's like on a first name basis with all these women now.
Well, there may be a time when he gets out and is trying to go into another government agency or move up in rank.
They're gonna
And
ask that question.
there's going to be a background check.
Yeah.
There's going to be certain questions on there. And then at one point, he may even have to take a polygraph where they ask him specific questions about that.
Thing is with this kid, and I know he's not listening, but if anyone is, don't tell him that and I think he knows this. He's not the brightest in the group,
Sure.
so I think he likes his base level where he's at, like
Not the
front
brightest
line
carrying
type
the
thing.
kind of two in the
Because I
box.
think that's what he is. He's like a front line. I don't know, but like he just wanted to go after the most basic thing, and like his like forte is just like I want to be told what to do. Like he was back for like a month or so, like right now, and he's like, I'm just kind of bored here. Like I just want to go back and actually do something. He's like,
Yeah.
I have no structure. I just want to be told what to do.
Yeah,
So-
you're brainwashed.
yeah, he's
Like
one of
legit,
them.
like it's a thing. Like what we were saying before the cameras and everything came on. Like it's an easy lifestyle. Like they give you food, they give you life insurance, they give you health insurance, and they give you a place to fucking sleep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what's better? What job? What other job gives you that? And they give you college.
And
Like,
that's
Yeah.
that's the big dichotomy of it, right? So you are taking young men and women, and you are asking them to be potentially put into some very precarious and potentially ultimate situations, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which that is a lot of responsibility, especially if you are in a leadership capacity where you have other people underneath you, where you have to be in charge of potentially their lives as well. But at the same time, like the military tries to structure it in a way that you shouldn't have to worry too much about the other side of it, right? So like I said earlier, it's like you trade your mom for Uncle Sam, and they're gonna tell you what to wear, where to be when you got to be there. Here's what you're gonna be doing. Just get proficient at your job, do your tasks, and that's your day. And, hopefully you get proficient at those things, and you feel comfortable doing it, just like we talked about with the firearms thing. And obviously, the shooting is, for the majority of the military, that is like less than 1% of their job. All right, there are so many other more important things that need to happen. I mean, I don't have an exact number, but for every dude who's a shooter, there's probably 10 to 30 people behind them supporting them, which are just as important.
Yeah, I got pretty good at like landscaping stuff like
well,
that.
yeah, that's different.
Like the Army taught me how to be a great landscaper, how to fucking do what I'm told, get cussed at a lot, and get really thick skin. They didn't really teach me how to shoot guns that well. And it's the fucking truth, man. Like, see, he laughs about it. He came from the officer side of the compound,
that's right.
So he was telling everybody else what to fucking do.
Oh, okay.
No, I told one or two NCOs what I would like to have happened, and then they interpreted it however they wanted, and then did whatever. After that, as long as I said my piece. I mean, shit, they knew more than I did anyway.
So I noticed both of you guys have like a decent amount of tattoos. Do you guys get like them over there? Like wherever you were?
Oh, I got a bunch of them over there.
Did you?
Yeah, man.
I was wondering, is that like
he got more over when he was deployed than I did. Us, like one of the dudes on my team, like actually had built a tattoo gun out of
Dude, that sounds like him over here. He's got a bunch littered on his legs.
out of a fucking like electric toothbrush, and then like made his own ink out of like ash and stuff. Like
It's some prison shit.
yeah, it's some prison
that is
shit.
some prison
but then
shit,
he
yeah.
upgraded to an actual like tattoo gun and started like tattooing in like where we were living at. So like he's actually a tattoo artist now.
Oh, really?
That's what he does for
That's
a living
cool.
now.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
But he's got way more.
we had a handful of guys, and they had the legit setup, and they'd make sure it was sanitary. Only one guy, dude Mario, who he actually was working as a tattoo artist in LA before he went into contracting. But then, oddly enough, he fell out of his bed one night and busted his good arm, and then he couldn't do it anymore, and they had to leave.
Oh,
but,
no.
Yeah, like non-combat related at all. It's just completely.
That's typically, honestly, that's
just
like
shit
when
luck.
you're a contractor, that's typically how it fucking goes. 'Cause by the time you get to that point in your career, you've already got probably 10 years behind you of military or SWAT or something. So then you get all these dudes in like their 30s and 40s and 50s who are contractors who are fucking broke, basically.
Like physically.
Physically broke. You make one slip up. Like in the PT test that we took was rigorous as shit. It was a super easy PT test, but it was very violent on your body. Like a mile and a half and 10-15 carrying a 100-pound dummy like 100 yards halfway down, or a 16-second Illinois agility run sprinting through cones and then like cutting really hard at the end. And when we're there, we're fucking lifting. So we're bulking as we're there, and then we're getting ready to leave. They're like, oh, hey, you guys got to take a PT test. Like, bro, I'm fucking 292 right now. Like, I can't cut shit. And you literally would watch dudes blow their knees out on these PT tests because they're trying to cut, and now you just threw away a 6-figure job because of
That
that.
sucks.
Or you fall out of your fucking bed.
when I first got into contract and I got to our man camp in Kabul, I thought I was going to like WWE tryouts, just looking at these fucking monsters, and I was like, okay, well,
What's a
we
man
need. That's just what we called the base camp that we had.
Because all dudes.
Yeah. I mean, it mostly was also all dudes. Yeah.
All dudes and shit, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like 100 to 1, guy to girl ratio.
And if you did have women on your contract, they were lesbians and they drove a truck. And if they weren't, they were in the admin office.
Not that there's anything wrong.
Not that there's anything wrong with that at all.
No.
Not at all. It's just
That's how it went.
That's just how it went.
It's an
Anytime like
experience.
a straight woman somehow got onto contract, the gay women would push them like out of the contract because they were like, we don't want you screwing up our ecosystem. Like,
That's crazy.
go
how that
away.
works, huh?
Like, don't ruin this. We've got a good thing here. Like, there's tons of women out there that are capable of doing anything, but like that's
But you
just
know the
way
other
it
thing
was.
too, like you'd think that even okay, say it's going to happen every once in a while. You're going to have an attractive female show up in this sea of just, fucking total meatheads who don't have, I mean, shit, you smell shampoo over there and you haven't smelled that in months. You're like, what? Okay, where is it? That kind of thing.
Boys.
But the thing is, like, the majority of guys that I knew, because of how strict like rules were and how they were worried about like the environment at the time with like sexual harassment and everything else, dude, I didn't even want to make eye contact with them. I was like, nope, not even looking in that direction. Like, I want this job. I'm not trying to get in trouble. Like, you just put it out of your mind. It's not even worth it.
That makes sense. Like tunnel vision past it.
For sure,
You
man.
don't want to fuck it up for yourself.
Well, it's because they know they can do whatever they want. They're
Right,
not going to give you the time of day because there's 20 other jokers waiting to fucking say hi.
It's 100%. Yeah. Shit.
But back to your tattoo thing, because this is funny. So the guys that were doing it on my contract, I usually would wait until like a couple other dudes would get their shit done and be like, all right, no issues, it looked all right. But if you notice, a lot of the ones that I got over there are like small circles like that. And like that was always our reference. Like I just had like a dip can, like just trace around that. And that's about the size that I want. I got one on my foot, it's the same size. But like that was what I just used for sizing for all of them.
I just really like your black work one.
That thing's so fucking rad.
Yeah, this thing's sweet. I had it done at Redbird Tattoo. Lacey's the artist out in Fredonia.
Really?
So yeah, I had a bunch of stupid shit from when I was 19.
I was gonna ask that. Was it cover up?
Yeah. So like, dude, I played lacrosse, high school and college. I played at RIT, and I had like this like one cool little tribal band on there.
Fuck yeah.
Which was sick when I was 19, right?
Yeah, I get
and it looked sweet in my lacrosse uniform because you got shorts on,
Yeah,
and I got complimented by like the other 19-year-old girls that thought that was cool at the time at RIT. Because I was probably one of 6 guys who had tattoos there. But, over the years, I grew to hate that fucking thing. And I started adding more shit to it. And then it just became this conglomeration of horribleness. So Lacey does a really good job of, she'll black the whole thing out and then add the white over top of it.
Is that white outline?
Yeah. So this white has been added over the top of the black.
How bad did that white hurt and all that black?
It all hurts. They all hurt always. And I just forget about it until I'm sitting down.
In tears, actually, when she was
I've
doing
never
the
had
white
tears on a tattoo.
No, nor have I, but I've wanted to scream, and I just, tell myself that there's only suffering. But yeah, the white, she had to go over a couple of it 3 times because I don't follow the rules and like cover it up when I'm outside in the sun, and she yells at me.
I yell at them all the time. Because like when we go out to the range and we're like out someplace where it's super, even here when it's sunny out, like I'm spraying my tattoos with like child sunblock. I'm like, here, and he's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, dude, you just got that touched up.
Anything that you're just giving protection.
Yeah, you just got that touched up.
We lived in, man.
Whatever, man. It's fine. And then like afterwards, he's like, I probably should have put sunblock on. It's fucking like faded now, son of a bitch.
I hate how I hate the people that are like tattoos don't hurt. It's like, did you know?
Bullshit.
You know damn well they hurt. Like I'm sitting across with 2 tough ass motherfuckers right now, and I'm telling you, they just said tattoos fucking hurt. So
bad. Some places hurt more than others,
God,
but they all hurt.
You have nerves in different places.
Yeah.
The shin was terrible.
Oh, dude, it feels like a jackhammer.
Dude, I didn't want to know about that. I want to do like that, just completely black this leg out eventually.
Well,
like when I'm older. But like right now,
it's Lacey, man. Yet, she does a good job.
So what I actually started to do, and he laughed at me for, was I bought that like numbing cream.
Yeah.
And like spread it all across, because this was a cover up here, and like spread it all across my arm and like wrapped it in like cellophane. So then when I got there, it was fairly numb. And like my tattoo artist Shannon at Twisted
Can't believe
Tiki,
you're admitting this to people.
I'll fucking
I want to talk about this.
at Twisted Tiki in Tonawanda, and he was like, after he did like 3 hours, and he was like, all right, he's like, I beat your arm. My arm was swollen. He's like, I beat your arm pretty good. I'm like, oh, I'm good, dude. Just fucking send it. Like, keep going. He's like, seriously? I was like, hell yeah, man. I was like, I put numbing cream on that shit. He's like, oh, all right, and just fucking went the next day. Holy shit, my arm fucking was in pain. But like,
you didn't feel it though.
It went from like instead of being like a burning itch, it was just like a scratch.
So you use it really?
Yeah.
So
it still had a little bit of pain to it, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is uncontrollable. It was like, oh, this actually made it better. Like, fuck you, Travis. Don't make fun of me.
Like, I haven't been back.
It just doesn't feel like you earned it the same
in weeks. And like so Dion was talking about it. So I had to text him yesterday. I'm like, he said he's tried every cream, and he said there's only one that works. So I'm like, you got to send me this link. So I got the link. I'm gonna test it out because I have one set for like 4 weeks from now. But like I haven't been tattooed in over like 2 years now because of COVID and everything.
What's the cream?
I don't even know what it's called. I can pull it.
I think I got like Dr. Numb is what I got.
See,
Something like a little red tube.
He's like I've tried everything, and this is the only one that works. I'm like, okay.
He gets his hat for every win.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
He gets a tat for everyone.
So you got a lot of fucking tattoos.
Like tally marks and shit.
A lot of tattoos.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's literally tattoonumbingcream.com.
Oh.
Tattoo numbing cream.
Made it easy for you.
Yeah, dude, I've got to try it because he swears it's the best.
Travis
you
is
won't
judging
feel
me
a
right
thing.
now.
Judging me?
Travis is judging the fuck
Judges
out
the
of me.
hell out of me. I don't want to sit
Hey,
there through
man,
that.
if you own it, that's cool.
I don't want to sit there through that. I got to get this knee blasted. You're over here. You're
Oh, dude,
wild.
don't do that. That was my worst
That's
one.
what I'm
man.
saying. I don't want to go through
That was
that.
my worst one.
You should send some to your cousin.
What's that?
The numbing cream. You rub on his dick before he goes to the whorehouse.
I feel that's where you're going with that one.
Yeah,
Dude, numbing cream, huh? That would,
yeah, they'll think he's a superstar. You know?
probably would. Fucking kid. Let's go to whorehouses.
On a first name basis.
Right.
That's gonna be fun though, dude. Whorehouses. I don't think they have that in New York.
They do.
Yeah, they
They're
do,
here.
but are they legal?
Yeah, they're here.
Are they legal
It's a
then?
social club. I don't know.
Yeah, it's social club.
Yeah.
Swinging clubs.
It's like one of those speakeasies at nighttime. After like midnight when the bar's closed, you gotta bring your own booze.
Oh man.
Have you ever been to that speakeasy place?
Here?
Yeah.
No. I haven't been to the one
It's
here.
literally called speakeasy.
Yeah.
Or something.
Really?
We went to one in Dallas a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really remember that. You were
I
pretty
don't remember
drunk.
that too good.
He was like, I don't remember much. Like the next day, I'm like, dude, you remember like this happened? He's like, all of that happened
it.
last
Did it now,
night.
yeah.
He's like, get the fuck out of here.
If I don't remember, it doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Didn't happen.
Yeah, the place here, I just went there to try the wings because people said they were good. And there was one female running the entire bar and the entire restaurant. Like, serving food, everything. And I'm sitting there with my wings, and all of a sudden these old guys start showing up. And they, like, start putting tables together, and then they put a cloth down, and they just start fucking playing poker in the back of the restaurant.
Hell
I
yeah.
was like, okay.
That's some fucking Italian shit right there. Like that's exactly what
It
that
was kind of
is.
cool. I was sitting right next to him watching. I was like, all right.
That's actually good point. All right, so like when you're deployed, like I know you get like meals and everything, but like you're also like you can go do all this stuff, or not even deployed, but like doing the contractor stuff. You can go do like kind of live your life in a way. Like, did you find like certain food like what was your favorite food that you could get?
Oh shit, man! My favorite food like wasn't when I was contracting. Like there was good food when I was contracting, but like when we were contracting, we could live our life a little bit more open, like because we were civilians, so we could go to the market and buy food and come back, and we would grill on Saturdays when our days off. In the Army, though, when I was in Afghanistan, there was a little town called Ghulam Ali. And there was one dude there that used to make naan bread, or we call it foot bread. That's what we called it then. But he'd make naan bread, garlic naan bread, and then he had fucking goat hanging with like beehives built into it because of how long it's been hanging in the sun.
Yeah, just covered with flies.
Covered with flies, like chickens and shit. And he would make this like buffalo chicken and like no shit, it's chicken and hot sauce.
Of course.
And fucking this
to
goat,
kill the
like
chicken flavor.
Yeah, like some goat meat. And put fresh veggies in there, and then he'd take chips, like French fries. He'd take French fries and put them in there, and I had him made a wrap the one day.
Yeah, making
and
a
it's
kebab.
fucking like, just non-wrap. Okay. And we would literally go out of our way, like when we were outside the wire, like, oh, hey, we need to make a detour on the way back in because it's morning time, so it means that the bazaar is open. We got to go stop at our boy's place and go get some fucking food.
That's cool. That's good.
And that's what it was. When you go into any country, like that's what I do is I look for food, man. Like when I travel, like I could give a shit about what I'm doing wherever I am, but I look for restaurants, I look for food.
Fuck yeah, you
like
have
I'm a
to, right?
foodie, dude. Like that's what I care about.
So
Like
you're not
I
very
ain't going
picky.
to like fucking like Texas. I don't want to go to a goddamn like Applebee's or Chipotle.
Right.
Like I want to go to.
You don't want to
like,
get your 10% veteran discount?
Yeah, no. I want to go to like I asked the locals like, yo, what is the best local place for you to go to? And I'll go there. What pisses me off, though, about here, and you already know where the fuck I'm going with this, is how whenever somebody comes to fucking Buffalo, oh, you need to go to Anchor Bar or fucking Duff's. Shut your mouth. That's wrong. You don't go there.
Where do they go?
You need to go to, like, fucking Barbill, Dwyer's, like places like that, man. Like the little hole in the wall places. That's where the good Gabriel's Gate. Like that's where the good wings are.
I will say Duff's gets a lot
Snyder's
of shit.
Bar and Grill out.
They got good. They got sauces.
Amherst.
They got some good sauces.
Buffalo Wild Wings. Like,
Oh, don't even get started.
Are you
dude. Don't even get
serious?
started.
I was saying
I gotta-
just because of AJ.
Choke
That's why
yourself.
I gotta piss real quick. I'll be right back. I can't hold this.
Dude,
I was only saying because I know of his relationship. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, every time I see them anywhere now, and just like cops get called and shit like that happens. Fucking,
Dude, you fucking kill me with that shit, though. I fucking love it.
I did 2 protests last year.
Yep.
Right out front, right? First time, obviously, conversated with the cops and whatever. Second time, we moved across the street because I knew what they were going to tell me. They were going to say, get off the property, basically. So that's what I did. I saw them pulling in, and I was like, all right, just cross the street. And we're over there. They couldn't do anything. And then we were at the Wing Festival. And I had Nick with me. He had the camera. And I'm like, yo, just like chill back for a second. I'm going to walk up there and like talk some shit. So I walk up there, and I don't know if he was the franchise owner there or like the manager or something. He saw me walking up. He goes, no.
Absolutely
I was like, what?
not.
I was like, what? Yeah, they fucking hate me, but who knows? We might do another protest this year.
Yeah. The food thing for me in Afghanistan is I never went to Iraq. I only deployed to Afghanistan. I mean, collectively, I probably spent about 6 years of my life there. Contracted, if we could stop on the way back from a mission or something, they always have like pomegranates, like roadside stands of it, and that was pretty cool to grab those fresh. That was I don't think I'd ever eaten one before I seen them over there.
I haven't.
Yeah, they're weird, but pretty good. But the
dates?
Yeah, it was almost every time you'd go to a venue and you'd be pulling security, there'd be their own security guys too, and you'd just kind of hang out around them and like watching them also. But they'd usually bring you food, man, if it was cool, like another embassy or something like that, or even even that warlord compound I was talking about. We sat up on top of that mountain outside. I got pictures of it. It was so cool. A little like rice with like raisins and cashews in it type thing, and then it was either chicken or lamb most of the time. Goat's pretty gross. Goat's real goaty.
I fucking love goat, man. That shit's so good.
Lamb is much better than goat.
Well, lamb
the only
is
thing I never fucked with was that weird yogurt they had.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if my Western stomach would have handled
I
it.
had that.
I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be
It fucked with a
clenching
lot of my
cheeks
dudes.
on the ride.
Yogurt?
See, so they like
No, my Western stomach. I don't know if it
Yeah,
would have
so-
handled. Because it's like
ferment. They'd make their
Yeah,
own yogurt
man.
and like.
Out of-
I mean, dairy products over in the Middle East.
and it's goat. I
like-
think it's like a goat yogurt.
Yeah, like.
Are they suspects?
Oh, I never tried it. I said that was the one thing I never tried was their weird goat yogurt.
It wasn't bad.
Because I didn't want to be peeing out of
So
my
like I
ass.
said,
on
dairy in the
drive
Middle
home.
East was not a very abundant thing.
Right.
So like if you got dairy, like you questioned where it came from or how they made it because how they fermented or however they did it, and like the yogurt was probably made in like a goat stomach somewhere hanging, like. Not that that's. I mean, cheese is made the same fucking way.
Yeah.
But I mean. Yeah, there's some things you don't want to fuck up when you're out there, like, and that's one of them.
100%,
Like, you don't
yeah.
want to be like shitting your brains out because you just had some fucking yogurt that's been fermenting out in 120 degree heat for fucking 2 weeks.
It's even like going to Mexico. You can't
Yeah.
drink the
Right.
water there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just
Where's the ice come from, though?
fuck. Yeah. Oh, that's why.
Son of a bitch.
Holy.
I feel like the alcohol cancels out the ice, though.
Right, yeah, it kills the bacteria.
Tequila, man.
Hey, you guys have a good time out there? Like, just like, did you just do that when I was pissing? Or do you guys like I don't know how available it was, but you guys like party a little bit? I don't mean party, but like just drink, have a good time
No.
with the boys.
Yeah.
no time at all.
So
for them, huh?
when I got, I actually quit drinking for like probably a good 3 years, and then when I got on contract, the ambassador's driver, like the week before I got there, or maybe I was there for like a week, crashed the got super shit faced and crashed one of the ambassador's like BMWs and like a Connex box. Like he was trying to get kicked off contract.
Okay.
Like super fucking drunk, crashed the car, and then like, oh, dry contract, you guys are done.
Right.
And like then that's when I was like, well, this is bullshit. And everyone's like, you don't drink anyways. I'm like, yeah, it was my choice. You took that choice away from me. Now I want to fucking drink. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. So I came home and started drinking again. But like, no, like when we were overseas over there, it was basically dry contracts, which when you're doing a job like that, like honestly,
yeah, that makes sense.
Because you got dudes that can't control themselves.
It was actually, I thought it was pretty sweet because you got a chance to
you got 3 months to fucking detox.
Yeah, man, you got to get in shape, stay in shape,
like lose a little bit of weight, get together, get your shit together.
Man. Then you look good when you come home.
Yeah, for fucking a day.
But yeah, the contracts we were on, like, you know, you always hear anytime you do something like, man, it was so much cooler, like last year or whatever it was, like with anything, like that's how it was.
I went
to
like Ranger school when it was hard.
Same thing, yeah, right. Like same thing with us. Like I think when I got there, it was maybe a year or two before they had made it a dry contract. Comes the dude stole a vehicle, tried to drive like 30 miles to Bagram, one of the bases, to like hang out with some chick or something, and like wreck the vehicle in the mountains. And like it is gangster. Yeah, it was ballsy as hell because they were gonna try and be back by morning.
Hell yeah.
And they for sure did not make it, and then had to like call and get like a wrecker to come out and grab the vehicle. So yeah, no drinks for you fellas. The thing was that they did have liquor stores over there on the embassies.
Yeah, all the State Department could fucking drink.
That's right. So most of the civilians, like, I mean, the general rule was if you're not carrying a firearm for work as a contractor, you could drink. The State Department agents, the federal agents, they could all drink.
They were all basically college graduates that started working for the State Department that were over there fucking on vacation.
I don't know. Some of them were pretty cool, but
some of them were
it's
cool,
like any group, man. Like any group, dude. You're gonna have fucking assholes and cool people. It's like any other organization.
It is what it is, you know.
I mean, and there's other like shooter type contracts with like higher clearances and stuff. And those guys can booze too. But yeah, I mean, you always get dudes to sneak the shit in. You know, you can get it in the mail. People would send you a Listerine bottle, the brown Listerine.
Dude, so when we started bumping from the embassy in Baghdad to Baghdad International Airport, that was probably the coolest part of the contract for me, was because the embassy was very open. Like, there was tons of people there, like thousands of people, and probably like 150 of us contractors. So you couldn't get away with shit, like, because you were by the flagpole. So we'd go to BIOP, there was 12 of us, and then the rest was all military. So you had 12 dudes wearing fucking jeans and Chuck Taylors carrying Glocks, and people were like, oh shit, fuck yeah, those dudes are badass. And we're just like laughing, like, hell yeah, we're away from the fucking flagpole, we can do what the fuck we want. So of course, somebody has to fucking test the system. And one of our snipers on our team decided that he was going to drive to the bar, like this little tiki bar, get shit-faced, start talking shit to a bunch of the 7th group dudes that were deployed there. I get a phone call from one of the dudes because I knew him. And he's like, yo, your boy's here, like, shitty, trying to start a fight with, like, my team. I'm like, God damn it. So send one of the guys to go get him. He refuses. I go to bed.
As one does.
Yeah, as one. He refuses. I go to bed and I wake up because there's the SOC security team was there and like the MPs were there. And I'm like, I open my door, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, some dude like pokes me in the chest and he's like, mind your own business. I'm like, well, this is my team. Like, no, I'm not. Like, what's going on? Like, you see Brandon like falling over in the hallway. I'm like, oh fuck. He had to do it, didn't he? He almost fucking hit like one of the State Department agents on a run. At like 1 in the morning, almost fucking smoked him with the van that he was fucking driving, and then
can't do that.
No,
yeah,
I don't think so.
like there's always someone who's got to test the goddamn water.
Someone's got to fuck it up.
Someone has to fuck it up,
and someone always will.
And all you had to do was just go in the fucking store,
everywhere.
buy a 6-pack or a bottle, and go sit in your fucking room and have a drink. But no, that's too fucking complicated for people.
Someone ruins it for everybody else, you know.
So it usually goes.
Is that like a like, I don't know if we really touched on it, we might have, but like the contracting work and doing stuff like that, is that really like a you got to be 24/7 alert type thing? Because like that would make sense.
I would
on
say
the drinking aspect a little
so
bit.
there's always a QRF, a quick reaction force element that is staged and ready to go. So there's multiple levels of contractors that do different things in terms of defense and security. So I know for us, they outsourced the static positions. So the guys that would guard like the towers and the gates of entry and shit like that, a lot of those dudes were just Nepalese guys. And they had Americans intermixed with them as well, but that was a different contract. I didn't ever work on one like that. Everything I did was mobile, so we would, go around town, outside the wire. But those guys, yeah, like I said, different layers. And did you guys have like Ugandans or
we had
Ecuadorians
Ugandans.
or something like that? Yeah.
Ugandans
So I mean,
worked at ours.
because these guys could make in a month what they would make in like 10 years in their, and it wasn't much, according to our standards. But
I think they got paid. It was like $80 a day or some shit like that.
yeah, whatever it was. Yeah. But so those guys were always 3 shifts or whatever it was, always around. For our guys, I don't know how you guys did it there, but for us, we had a quick reaction force that was always, even if you're sleeping, you should be ready to go like on your trucks or whatever position you need to be at within like about 5 minutes. But if there were teams out, like out in town doing something, those guys were still kind of ready, on alert.
Yeah, we had a team.
But once the last team would come in for the night, then those dudes, you could go down.
So we had like QRF for us had a team room that was 12 on. So basically, if you were on QRF, you were in that team room like this for 12 hours.
We did it like that for a while.
Watching
and then it
fucking goddamn like Narcos every episode, or
right,
fucking One Tree Hill.
Crush a whole season.
From fucking, like no shit. Then, because they were in their rooms for a while and that changed, and then they were on 12-hour shifts or something like that.
Did you notice it was every time there was a new like RSO, then the QRF stuff?
Yeah.
The RSO is the regional security officer, the guy who was in charge, like the State Department guy who was in charge of us. It's like every time a new dude would come in, they'd want to change shit up and make it like, yeah, like, oh, let's change up how you guys do stuff. So we go from like 12 hours on to then, all right, you guys can just be in your rooms. Or, oh, no, you guys got to be on the trucks just sitting there waiting. It's like, all right, man, like, can we just pick one and just go with it? Every couple months, it's something different. But luckily, I was only on a team like that for, I don't know, maybe a year or two.
So I did it for a month.
On and off.
I did it for a month. And then I came back from leave. Like, oh, hey, you're on a mobile team now. You're a tactical commander. I'm like, oh, this is literally my 3rd month in Baghdad. They're like, oh, trial by fire, bro. You're going to figure it out. I'm like, all right. And I did. And I'm glad they did it because I had way more fun doing mobile shit than sitting in a fucking room and not being able to see the city.
Right.
Because like that, I mean, that's the thing. Like,
unless you get spun up, obviously.
Yeah.
But, so we would. Did you guys do? When I was on QRF, we would do like, because we had an aerial team as well. So helicopters, gunships, stuff like that. I mean, we would do flyovers, familiarization runs, and we would get to go out in town as well, just driving. Because if you didn't have a constant presence, sometimes like traffic patterns change. They'll close off certain roads. So if you don't have intel from day to day of what's going on, you might fuck up a route and all of a sudden get hemmed up. And there's so much traffic, it's not like you can just turn around in a lot of space. You might just be stuck there for a little while. So that was how we did it for a few years. And then there was this huge bombing. It was like May 31st, 2017, 2018.
2017.
I mean, it happened at like 8:30 in the morning. So that happened right on the backside of our compounds, and it took down a massive amount of T-walls, which are just really high concrete walls. Smoked those, left like a 20-foot crater in the intersection. Just took out windows, like basically annihilated the front half of the German embassy. And then, so the walls that it took down were right across the street from us, and it shattered. I mean, like lights and shit, like the ceiling panels were all falling down, like in our living areas. I thought a fucking mortar landed in my bed. It was, and like when I was in the Army, I deployed with an EOD unit, so I'd blown a lot of shit up and I've been around a lot of explosions, but this was like nothing I'd ever experienced. It was a giant like shit. It was a shit truck. Like the ones that clean out the like, porta potties and stuff.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, like imagine like a concrete truck like that size. Yeah. Just packed with homemade explosive. So it blew shit sky high. And it was a busy intersection on this street corner. So you can imagine anything and everything that was in that little area, it all went up and it all came down. I mean, it killed over 150 people in one blast. So, I mean, we were finding body parts for days. We spent the whole afternoon medevacing people out of there from our LZ that we had in the landing zone. And so the whole point of me telling that was after that happened, the Afghan police and army put a lot of like these drop arms in a lot of the major intersections, so our gun trucks couldn't fit through them because our turrets where the machine gunner was too high. So we had to change up how we did things. So we would just have like counter assault teams, which is just like a truck of 4 dudes strapped, shadowing the motorcade, just in case. So at least you would have a presence right there on the spot if something happened, because you couldn't spin up your trucks and get them out in town quick enough because you'd have to take the longer routes. And then, you also had your mobile teams, which would take folks out, which, an ambassador's detail, those guys are going to do a different job. They're probably wearing suits and ties and stuff like that. Or, more like a low pro team, which is what I was on for a long time, we had, we were wearing the Afghan man jammies, little pancake hats, scarves, long beards. And it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm gonna look like an Afghan, because I don't. I'm a white dude that weighs 210, but you can at least offset being acknowledged a little bit longer to where it's like, oh yeah, but you're already gone by the time someone even thinks that you're one of them.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of different ways of doing things. Even under that one job, there were still many different jobs underneath it.
Okay, that makes sense. So like something like that drastic happens, like you spend, like how long is that? Like you just work 24/7? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for something like that, yeah. For something like that,
you're on for a couple days. Like shit doesn't go back to normal.
You might go get
no sleep at all.
You might go get like 2 hours of sleep or something in the back of the truck or some shit like that. But yeah,
okay,
you're on until everything's like secure and buttoned up again.
That's some crazy.
And it wasn't just that. I mean, there were like rolling gunfights in the streets for days afterwards with, protesters. And like the thing is, at least in Afghanistan and Kabul, like anytime a crowd would form, something would blow up. Because you have opportunists, these suicide bombers that are like, oh, sweet. Get to go, do some jihads.
Time and space.
Yeah.
There it is right there.
So it's, yeah.
Damn. So even like, you're also working and then you always still have to be on guard too.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta think of where you're at. Like
that's crazy.
Like you're in a hostile area.
And that's what would bother me so much.
Turned on.
About the folks that would just go to the embassy strictly as diplomats, never go outside the wire, never see what's actually happening around them, and thinking that they can, fix the world with like a smile and a hug. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, there are people out there that hate you.
Yeah.
Whether you know about it or not.
And that goes back to like what I was saying on my 30th birthday was we're running through the embassy wearing full kit, and people were like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Like, do you know where you are right now? Like, do you ever see us like this? This isn't the time to fucking figure out what the hell's going on. Like, and they were bitching like as they were, because some of the
You're inconveniencing them because they had the pool for that hour.
Yeah, like, oh, can I leave the building to like go get some food? No, you fucking idiot! You can't leave the building right now. Like, do you know what's going on outside? Like,
people are crazy.
Yeah, they said like for us, we were always switched on, but a lot of the people who were there, it was just a vacation for them. Mm-hmm. Because they never left the wire. They only saw palm trees and paved streets inside of this beautiful, manicured, landscaped embassy. Okay. You leave the street, and it's trash and fucking homeless people laying around places and, like, shit flowing through the streets.
So that's
garbage
what you mean
everywhere.
By the wire. You guys keep saying that. So that's, like, kind of like the wire would mean, like, outside of, like, your little embassy?
Yeah,
outside of your secure zone. Okay. Yeah. And that's just it, too. Like, so you can talk to folks, and usually people just drop the name of Iraq or Afghanistan. It's like, whoa, holy shit, badass. It's like, dude, not all deployments are created equally. No, it's not putting people down. If you had a certain job and you went over there to do it, good on you. Dude, you serve just like everybody else. But I don't know, some of these State Department folks that just treat it as a vacation rub me the wrong way.
Yeah, 100%.
That's crazy to even think that. I would never would have thought that.
Like your birthday story was funny though, because you said you were playing Call of Duty before, and then you just literally ran right into it.
You were called to duty.
Call of Duty to Call of Duty.
Dude, that's what most of our time was literally like lifting fucking weights and playing video games. Like that's what it consisted of.
I don't play video games, but
grow the fuck up.
What Call of Duty were you playing? Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2.
What was your gun of choice?
In that one,
that's a go-to game right there.
that's my gun. It was probably the M4. It was always the M4 in that game.
M4. Okay, I'll give you that. I can give you that.
It was comfortable for me. It was normal.
Just getting reps in, bro.
Getting the reps in. And that was the thing, too. Like, my wife would laugh because she's like, oh, all you fucking badass dudes sitting there playing video games. I'm like, it's hand-eye coordination.
Same
and
shit.
It really is. It's hand-eye coordination because you got to think of all that shit happening on the screen. Like, you're actually getting reps in for acquiring things, being able to pick things up faster. It sounds stupid. But
reaction time.
That's just the excuse I use.
But I feel like you're like he was talking about it earlier. I feel like that it kind of makes sense. Like
Yeah.
you got to start
You
somewhere.
think they'll ever train people with like Oculus now?
They do.
They do.
They do already?
Yep.
They already do.
Yeah.
You guys ever do anything like that?
Yeah, so there's a buddy of mine. He actually is so I don't even know if I can. I'm not gonna say the name of what it is, but so he created this drone that looked literally like okay. Remember in the first Star Wars episode, was it 5? Was the first one?
4.
4. The fucking white ball that was floating on the Death Star when Princess Leia was in her whatever, her jail cell. It looks like that.
Wait, are you talking about the little white ball that was floating in the Millennium Falcon when Luke Skywalker was getting shot with little lasers?
Yeah, that's the same concept.
He was all
too.
blinded
Yeah.
because he couldn't feel.
So it's this fucking ball that's just got hundreds of cameras on it, and it's controlled by like a computer or your controllers, and he'll go through a building with it, and he'll digitally analyze the building and take photos of it, go into every room. So you're getting the correct height, you're getting the doors, you're getting all the correct dimensions for everything, and he'll build a 3D replica of that in space, whatever you want to call it, in that outer space. And then you put your 3D or whatever you want to call them, your Oculus shit on, and you grab your gun or whatever, and you walk on this treadmill, and you walk through the building. And then they can put AI in there, like people working at desks, somebody who's doing something bad, like whatever it may be.
Dude, the fucking world.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's pretty sweet.
It's a pretty cool concept. Yeah, there's some pretty
What
rad
the
shit out there.
fuck?
But I mean, that's
Technology.
above and
That's
beyond.
crazy.
Like that's not something like normal law enforcement, SWAT, or anyone's dealing with. That's like agency stuff, like higher on echelon.
But it's only a matter
type
of
stuff.
time till that really does start becoming a more normal thing. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
like they've got
It's happening so much.
they've got smokeless simulators. Like we have one at the store. It's just
It's like
a
adult
screen.
duck hunt,
Yeah, it's
man.
like adult duck hunt.
It's a big old screen. You got guns that look and feel like real guns. They're like airsoft guns where you use a green gas so there's some blowback.
Yeah, the video that
You
I
can actually
posted
get some
of me
recoil.
in the grocery store. I don't know if you saw that one where like I'm just standing in front of the screen. A dude bursts into the grocery store and pulls a gun, and I'm sitting there waiting till time and space until I had the opportunity.
I think I did see that, actually.
And then as soon as the guy turns his head, you can see me draw my pistol and put like 10 rounds into the guy until he dropped. And it's just a 3D simulator.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Technology is insane.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's just gonna keep getting crazier.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's cool because like it's you don't have to spend money on ammo or anything like that to go out there and hone some kind of skill. Like you can sit there and do steel challenge on it. You can do shooting trap, shooting skeet,
like
sporting clays,
USPSA
whatever you're thinking of, shooting
matches,
pop
like different
cans.
tables and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Duck
really
hunt's even
cool.
on there.
Yeah.
Like
Now, when translating to like real life, do you think like sometimes that's not super efficient, like those simulator type things? That's not like a.
Well, it's not 100% of the solution,
Right.
but it absolutely will get you, the reps of getting on your gun, prepping the trigger, getting on your sights faster, transitioning targets. So yeah, I mean, it still works speed and accuracy.
Okay.
In many ways, it's not going to feel the same as shooting
Right.
a real gun, but for us, the majority of the time that we pull a trigger, it's not with a live round. It's in dry fire. Dry
Really?
fire just
Okay.
meaning the gun is empty.
Yeah.
And because I can literally just pull out the gun and if I press the trigger, knowing that I got a good purchase on it, my grip was solid. I acquired my sights as soon as I wanted to. I had a good index point for my red dot, and I press that trigger and the sight doesn't move, then that's a good rep.
Okay.
The bullet would have went where I wanted it to.
Right.
And that just cost me time. It's not ammo.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, live fire is the test of what we did in dry fire. Did we get the reps that we needed? If not, okay. I mean, still shoot, but go back and work what we didn't do well, or what we could have improved on that day. And you can always get better with anything. I mean, honestly, I think the best possible training you could do if defensive shooting is your focus is with sim guns or like airsoft guns.
Yeah.
Something where there is another person shooting back.
That's some like.
Yeah,
I've done that like once or twice. That's
we've got
crazy shit.
some force on force classes coming up. One's in September, where it's called Entangled Practical Handgun. So basically, half the day you're going to be in our mat room on the range, so that building that's on the range, we've got mats, like judo mats in there, and you'll be doing a little bit of basic, like BJJ, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, some basic mounts, some like different positions,
takedowns,
stuff like that, and then the other half of the class will be on the range with us, going over basic firearms fundamentals. The next day, same thing, you'll be either in the mat room or with us on the range, going over the offensive side to blade work or utilizing a firearm in a very close proximity, like nose-to-nose type stuff.
Okay.
At the end of the day, basically all 20 students are going to come together. Like I've got cars on the range, you've got buildings, trailers and stuff. It's just going to be an evolution where I'll be like, all right, hey, AJ, Travis, you go over there, you go over there. I might hand you like a UTM gun or a sim gun that fires paint rounds. I might give him nothing. And then
Figure it out.
Circle of death.
Okay.
I'll be like, hey man, you can't draw
Thunderdome.
you can't draw your weapon for 10 seconds or something like that. After 10 seconds is up, you'll hear us call it, saying 10 seconds is up. If he's got a firearm or a weapon or anything, or if you do, you can try and implement it to try and get out of the situation. But you've got judo helmets on, like you're beating the shit out of each other. Like the one video that I posted, you can see Derek pick him up and almost throw him through the window of the van, and like you hear the body panels on the van getting crushed. From
Until I reversed him and got mount.
Yes. Until you reversed it, yes. But that, honestly, that is the best type of training that you can get, is that, because it doesn't get more fucking real than that. And it sucks. Like, you're getting beat up like for like 4 days after the fact. Like, my body was fucking sore as shit from being slammed into a fucking truck in a van and having a 250-pound dude, like, trying to take me down and throwing elbows into me and punching me in the head, like stabbing me with a foam knife. Like,
everything goes.
Anything goes. So that class is what we've been telling, like, especially a lot of law enforcement, because I mean that's the best training that they're going to get to be out on the streets. Right there is what happens if you try to cuff someone and they turn around and take you to the ground. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think like the most important thing that like somebody can do is be able to. That's why jiu-jitsu is so important and stuff like that. Like being able to have, anybody can use a weapon type thing, but like being able to take somebody down any size too with your bare hands and just knowing the techniques and right form to do it. That's like the ultimate power.
Yeah, 100%.
Whatever situation you're in.
And that's what we preach that. Like, everyone's like, oh, I've got a firearm, I'm good to go. Like, but
I'll just shoot him.
You're 200 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but what are you gonna do?
Right.
Like,
I mean, I've had that, dude. I've had guys come in the shop, like, big fucking sloppy fat guys asking me, well, what like plate carrier should I get, or what night vision should I get? I was like, a gym membership. Like, that would benefit you the most.
Gym membership.
And it's true, man. Like, I have a hierarchy of principles that I like to push, is like in a defensive context, like what I consider important. I mean, the first one is, situational awareness, or limiting task fixation, as Ian from Rude Nation would say. So you're not just sucked into your phone. You know what the fuck's going on around you. You just have an understanding, so you can get out of a situation and avoid something bad before it even kicks off. And part of that is also being able to just talk to people, make eye contact, and talk your way out of things, de-escalate. That's the most important, right? Because if something happens, that means something has already gone horribly wrong. I mean, the next thing I have, that I hold true is fitness, and part of that is the hand-to-hand, being able to actually fight. But just general fitness and.
I mean, even doing general fitness though, like
you have a better chance.
You still need some kind of martial skill set.
For sure.
Yeah,
like, definitely. It doesn't matter what it is.
Strength always gets a vote no matter what.
Yes.
But, good technique with a moderate amount of strength beats no technique with a high amount of strength any day.
I mean, the last class that we just did, I mean, there was a female officer there, 105 pounds soaking wet.
Oh, stud.
And she, fucking stud.
Tossing dudes around.
Tossing us around. Like,
really?
Because she's been doing jiu-jitsu forever.
She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and competes in it.
That's crazy.
Like, I would never want to be on the wrong side of her at a fucking traffic stop, like,
That's
ever.
different shit. Like,
like, she's a stud. Like, she's ridiculous. But that just shows you, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. Like, yes, like he said, muscle is going to come into play. And yeah, she went up against like me or him 100%. As soon as I feel her start to do some crazy like spider monkey shit, all right, I'm going to muscle you, pick you up, and try and slam you down. Right. But she also knows a way to counteract that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the important part about it.
And then, beyond the fitness part, I consider just medical skills to be very important. I mean, the chances of you having to use medical skills in everyday life are much higher than you having to use, you know, martial or, you know, violence in some way.
Especially at a tailgate.
You know, you run into, you know, even like car wrecks, your kids choking, like anything like that. I mean, that shit's super valuable. Plus, you know, it's a age-old saying in our world, but if you want to put holes in people, you better be able to plug them too.
Yeah.
You know, on yourself or on others. And then to me, the last one is the deployment of a weapon of some kind. Like, I mean, obviously that's what we teach because that is worst case scenario, and it's, you know, a big part of it. Like, if something comes out, that's the one thing you can't fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That shit's crazy.
I mean, so like, what do you guys got going on here soon? I mean, you talk about us all this time. Like, what do you guys got coming
Well,
up?
you're the guest.
I know, but still.
We don't have anything special. I don't think, at least. Probably some whack
Not
drinking
much.
video
I
this
mean,
weekend.
we just had a video drop 40 minutes ago, but that was a case race. That was pretty bad. Everybody
Nice. I
puked.
have not done that
fucking
since
brutal.
college.
Everybody puked.
Well, the thing is, it was like
Just left it all on the
Each
field
person
there.
had their own 12
it wasn't like a real
2v2.
case race.
Oh, okay.
It was like we're trying to get this done for a video. We got everybody had. There's 2 teams of 2, so it was him and I versus 2 other people, and each individual person had their own 12-pack, and it was just like it was god awful. It wasn't like an all-day thing like a case race should be. It was
Right.
more of like I think we all got it done in like an
Yeah,
hour.
sprint to the
Oh,
finish
yeah, it
line.
was definitely.
We did, oh, it was a fucking goddamn. Oh, it was a sprint. Usain Bolt sprint. That's what. It was. Oh my god, we got it done within an hour. It was terrible.
Oh my god.
It was terrible. Like everything about it was terrible.
I just imagine like
That's a lot of
sloshing.
bubbles, man,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a lot of bubbles.
There's so many bubbles. It was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so rough.
I might have to do a 12 and 12 this weekend too, and I'm not
That would
looking
be
forward to it.
funny. That would be funny.
I've done like 3 of those, and it's fucking.
Shit, I still remember doing Edward 40 hands in the barracks.
Yeah. The key to that was
40 games is a good time, though.
wearing mesh
Yeah.
shorts so you could
Tell 'em
still
that one.
take a piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So we
this-
have a
I don't want to do it. I
we
don't
have
wanna do
a
it.
bunch of people that comment on the YouTube videos, every single video. It started probably 6 videos ago.
Yeah.
Some guys like do Edward 40 hands, but wear adult diapers.
Perfect.
I'm like,
And
that's
this-
a great idea.
This
Yeah.
kid being this kid came up with the stipulation of what?
Wait, hold on. So now, like every video, people are like, do beer Olympics in adult diapers, do this, do corn, like
Beer Olympics is a good
whatever,
time.
just do everything
Fucking
in
adult
adult
diapers,
diapers. And
no.
I'm like, we should do Edward 40 hands in adult diapers, right? First one to finish wins. Obviously, loser takes a laxative and has to shit in the diaper.
Oh,
I don't want to be on camera doing
refuses
that.
to do that.
I just
I
don't
am
want
so
myself.
down to do
Okay,
it.
we're gonna find somebody to do
That's
it
it.
because I don't want to be
Yeah.
like I don't want me out there like a video online that could like for some reason
Ruin your-
ever
ruin your
I'm doing
political
anything.
career.
There's yeah, right? I'm shitting myself.
You immediately
It's
turns
just
to
a degrading
Jackass
thing.
7.9.
yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah, that's awful.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, you had me at Beer Olympics. You lost me at shitting in a diaper.
Thank you.
I think it'd be hilarious, but
Oh, what? No doubt, 100%. It would be fucking hilarious. but,
Incredibly
like,
degrading at the same time.
Yes,
though.
exactly. Incredibly degrading at the same time.
hey, who gives a fuck what other people think? That's what I got.
I feel like AJ would actually lose purposely just so that he had to do it.
I would win. I'm telling you right now. I would have
No,
those
he
things.
would beat me
I
just
would
for his
have-
own pride.
I would have
he would
those
smoke me.
things done so fucking
He'd
fast.
be yakking.
But in
before
the
he pissed.
same chance of me having to like lose that,
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
nobody wants to see me in a diper.
Nah, dude.
That's a pretty.
It's 2022. That's a bold
it's a
statement, man.
pretty horrid sight.
Listen,
I have a lot of body
there's some
hair.
weird shit out there. People
Dude,
pay for pictures
you-
of fucking feet.
I know, you
really
could
do.
probably
I'm
do the
probably-
diaper thing on OnlyFans and make a couple bucks.
Dude,
You'd be 100 air.
I'm a fucking hairy motherfucker. I could
You know what?
start
And there's
OnlyFans.
someone who's into that.
There-
Might be a
there's-
dude, but
there's-
someone's into it.
Hey, if someone's into it.
That's all that counts. Money is money.
What time we at? Hour 40. Oh,
Holy shit.
oh
Man.
Lord.
Time's
That
flying.
was a long
Right?
one. Kick it off. Then. I
Let's
guess
wrap
we
it
got-
up. You guys got anything else to plug or say?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, with Bullcreek, we're constantly trying to set the bar when it comes to education. The store, Escarpment Arms, same thing is expect the same information you're getting from us there in the store when you come in to look at firearms. We're going to try and educate you before we try and sell you anything. if you are into firearms, like you've seen some of the stuff that we put out, like we do some pretty rad like builds, like painting, Cerakoting and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
It's cool. It's dope.
Definitely.
and classes, we do CPR classes. We do pistol permit classes, CPR classes, stop the bleed classes too.
Shit.
Which again, that's a super good skill to have.
If you guys want to get into it, you know where to
100%. Yeah,
you know,
we'll link
link in
them down in the
bio.
description.
description. I always say bio.
Yeah,
I'm an asshole.
the nice thing about having the gun shop there co-located with the training side of it, if you look at it like the gun shop is the hardware side of it. It's where you get the tools. The training company is the software. It's where you learn how to use them. And you know, we're probably one of the only places in town or in several hours of here that has the ability to do both.
See, I don't really know another place that really does. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's why we call it a blessing, man, because it is just so nice to be able to do that. And like Frank said, he's not joking. Like I will spend 30 minutes with somebody who walks in there, has no idea what the fuck they're even looking at, to educate them as much as possible. And if we don't have what I think is for them to buy, I'm not going to just push some bullshit on them. You know, I might send them somewhere else or online or something. We'll try and source it somewhere else. Whatever we can do. So, and then obviously inform them that it's just the first step. Like it's useless to you. It's an expensive paperweight if you don't know how to use it. And getting good training is probably the most important part of all that. From decent instructors. I mean, if you're looking at going to classes, you should always vet your instructors. You should always make sure that it's not someone with a cult of personality that's going to sell a class with 30 people and be the only person there just reading off drills. Anyone can do that shit. Anyone can read off, hey, shoot 5 rounds at this distance at this place. Like, that doesn't fucking help people. They need to know why they're doing what they're doing, not just how. Here it is.
Anyone who can teach you how to shoot, we want to help you understand why.
So we would break everything down into the smallest chunks to take a bite of that we can. A lot of it's just body mechanics and just body awareness and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And it's obviously a building process where it's not just one time. We give you things to go home with, like basically homework. Like, this is what you should be doing in dry fire because this shit's perishable. You can't just take one class and say, I'm good to go for fucking ever,
Right.
It's got to be a continuing process. And if you are going to go out into the world and carry that firearm, you need to be an asset, not a liability. If that thing comes out and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you just made it worse. And we also teach, it's not just, hey, I shoot the guy and he's fucking dead. Like, there's shit that happens after that. Police are involved. There's things that you need to know in your mind and be prepared, not only to say just to fucking get yourself, out of trouble, but the process that got you to the point to bring that gun out, you need to met certain checklists of things that made that legitimate. It can't just be, well, my dick's bigger, so I'm bringing the fucking gun out. Like, that's not how it works. You need to know that, like, if it's coming out, it's for a good reason, a good enough reason that's not going to hem you up. And it's still going to probably get you real jammed up in this state anyway, but I'd rather have you alive and dealing with it than fucking dead and having, no say in it at all.
So Escarpment Arms for the hardware, Bullcreek for the software.
Yep.
You guys will find it in the description. All right, let's go. You know where I'm going if I ever. I'm thinking about it, dude. I want to. It'd be
Well, I
fun.
appreciate you guys coming on. One last question, actually. You guys both strapped right now?
Yeah.
Did you know?
I didn't.
I feel safe. I think I saw it on you. Your shirt's a little tighter.
Yeah,
I
a
think
little
I saw it. No, thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate it. And if you guys don't like, comment, subscribe. You're a fucking big fat pussy bitch. And thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
Did I hit the right button? That was great.
Perfect timing.